Missouri and Kansas each have 24 cases now of COVID-19, and patients are now sharing their experiences of the symptoms they have.
Yesterday, I spoke with Brian and Carol Berg. They live in Overland Park. Right now, they're waiting to hear if Brian's test will come back positive. He shared his symptoms with us.
Started having abdominal issues, no signs or even indications that anything was wrong prior to that. And then about a half hour to an hour later, I developed a fever about 102, and then it spiked up over 103. I was on a Tylenol regimen until Sunday morning, at which point, since the fever was still high enough, they told me to go into urgent care. It came on even before we got to the emergency room. I mean, as fast as this stuff came on a Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock when you're sitting around doing all sorts of projects at home, and all of a sudden you've got, a gut ache, and then a fever just comes on, and all of a sudden you got chills and you can't get warm. I'll tell you, that's scary. They had treated me from the time I arrived at KU around 2:30 Sunday afternoon as though it was the COVID virus. Well, the hardest part was the really high fever and the chills and the body aches. They were more extreme than anything that I've ever had in terms of a flu virus or anything of that nature before. And they felt different. I mean, it wasn't like a flu type of thing. As my doctor said, he said, I'm 90% sure it's all the state test is going to do is confirm it. We're getting it set up now since we just got home from the hospital to essentially quarantine on different floors.
I feel like an incubator. I feel like I probably, if I didn't contract it when he was at his worst, I feel like I may have that immunity or something. But out of an abundance of caution, we've got hand sanitizers and wipes. Our house smells like bleach and Lysol right now.
Can you imagine they're on 2 different floors of their home? We also asked him about how KU Med is handling the coronavirus situation.
When we went to the emergency room, we were pretty much, escorted right away past everybody else and sent into an isolation room in the ER. To give you an idea just how fluid this whole situation is at KU Med, in the isolation in the unit that I was in, their protocol for what they needed to wear coming into my room changed 3 times on Monday, just based on what the CDC put out as new guidelines.
So Brian's hoping to learn whether his test comes back positive in the next couple of days. But until that happens, Carol can't decide whether she can take the test until they hear word on his.